Welcome back to the Road to National series. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through an upper max workout. So my variation for this week is a banded board press. Now, I've never done a board press with this amount of band tension before. However, I have done a regular bench press with this amount of band tension and I achieved 120 kilos of bar weight, which I just hit there with the board. Obviously, it's much easier with the board. So I was going for 130 kilos here. I wanted to at least hit this. To be honest, 120 felt very easy. And there you go. I hit 130 very comfortably as well. So I decided to be sensible and just go for 135 because I felt like there was definitely more left in the tank. And it was a little bit of a grind here, but to be honest, pretty comfortable. And I think I could have hit 140. I'll just come back and do that at a later date. Like there isn't a lot of pressure to push maxes. Once you've hit like a comfortable PR that's clearly good, there's no point in risking failing an attempt if you don't need to. So I was happy with that 135 kilos and just took that away, and plus the 50 kilos of band tension, obviously. So moving on to the accessories, the first accessory here was skull crushers at 60 kilos. So this is one of the heaviest I've ever done skull crushers before. I did skull crushers at this weight a couple of weeks ago and managed to get, I think, a set of 8 and then a set of 6, and it completely destroyed my triceps. I actually had some elbow pain after it because it was just very heavy for me. However, this week I was feeling much stronger and I managed to get a set of 10 on the first set. So I was very happy with that. And then I got a set of 8 on the second set. I was going for a second set of 10, but literally on rep like 7, I felt like there was basically no power. I managed to hit the 8th rep, but this variation isolates the triceps very well. And at 60 kilos, that is very heavy and challenging for me. So I was very happy with that I managed to hit that PR of 10 reps and then follow it up with a set of 8. And I haven't experienced any elbow pain since. So basically my body is adapting and getting comfortable for that weight. So moving on to the next accessory, I did a close, slightly supinated grip mag grip lat pull down, and I did 230 pounds for 2 sets of 8. So I was using a bit of body momentum. Last week was my first week in this 3-week wave, and I try and go the heaviest on my accessories. So I did 240 pounds for sets of 6. So this week I decided to drop the weight by 1 on the weight stack to 230 pounds and try and get sets of 8. So I did manage to do that. These actually felt pretty good, particularly because last week it felt like I was using a lot of body momentum, but I'm looking forward next week. I then lighten things up again, and I do feel like for me doing higher reps on my back movements is more effective. I do actually like doing heavy accessories for sets of like 6 and 8, but more on my pressing movements, such as this next accessory here, which is the chest press. So I decided to do 285 pounds, again slightly lighter than I did last week. Last week I did 297 pounds, but I only got like a set of 4. Here I managed to get a set of 8, just about. That 8th rep was such a grind at 285 pounds. That is a PR. I've never been able to get more than 6 reps before. And then last week I did actually drop down to this weight for a set of 5 on the second set, but here I felt I was strong enough to maintain this weight. So I managed to get, I think, a set of 6 on this second set. So I've said multiple times in the past when doing this chest press in particular, I find that my strength drops off massively on the second set. Like I can never get the same amount of reps as on the first set. And on most other accessories, I can, not including like the skull crushers today. But I think the reason for that is starting in that bottom position, particularly on the second set. It is so draining. Try to push the weight back up for the starting position. It's like having to do a bench press straight off your chest rather than unracking it at the top. It is significantly harder. So I think that is why I always get less on my second set of those, but that was fine. And I was happy to hit PRs on both of those chest press sets. Then moving on to the next accessory here, it was my shoulder movement, and decided to do 40 kilo dumbbells for overhead presses. I got 2 sets of 4 here. These actually the most challenging challenging part of this was like trying to stabilize my abs. I literally felt like I was going to cave in. It was very hard on the pressing as well. I definitely felt it in the delts and triceps, particularly doing a pressing movement straight after another pressing movement. Maybe that wasn't a wise decision from a programming standpoint, but it felt fine. Like, I enjoyed doing it, and I was happy that I was at least able to get those 40 kilo dumbbells up. There was part of me that was thinking I wasn't going to be able to do, and sets of 4 is about in line with what I can do. Strict pressing as well, so I can get about 80 kilos on a strict press with the barbell for a set of 4. So that basically fits with what I managed to do with those overhead dumbbell presses. So I was happy with them, but I do think in future, if I can like maintain some more core stability, I could probably push the reps to 6 or 8 with that weight. Then moving on to the penultimate accessory here, I decided to do hammer curls at 30 kilo with the 30 kilo dumbbells, and I think I got 2 sets of 15, but that's including sort of like stopping and taking a bit of pause halfway through both of the sets. But it definitely pumped up the biceps. I felt it less so whilst doing the sets, interestingly enough, but then like by the time I was doing this final exercise of my ab wheels here, my biceps were massively pumped. So it sort of had like a delayed effect where the blood pulled into the biceps after I'd actually done both of my sets. So the final accessory, as I've mentioned here, is ab wheels. So I did these last week and managed to get a set of 10, but then on the second set, I only got a set of 4 because it felt like I'd sort of strained my abs. Now this week, I managed to get a set of 10. This is definitely the most challenging exercise I do for my abs, particularly because I'm trying to make my back stay flat. You can sort of collapse in your lower back and allow your lower back to arch round. I'm trying not to do that. So the first set of 10 was very challenging, and this second set, to be honest, I felt like my abs felt a similar sort of strain to last time and just felt terrible. On like the 6th rep, you might be able to see me, I start to pause and debate whether to keep going. I did manage to keep going until a set of 8. I felt like that was still good. It's really frustrating because it's not a strength issue with the abs, but it does feel like really dodgy. It's not like just pushing for a burn or pushing to failure. Like they actually are experiencing pain there. It's like a terrible cramp. Anyway, I had to call it there, and my abs are exceptionally sore today, which is the following day whilst I'm recording this voiceover, but they don't seem to have been strained, and I think I might have actually caused some damage if I'd done those final 2 reps to make it 2 sets of 10. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff, and I hope you have a great day.